The rain begins like a hush, and the school seems to hold its breath as Liam Carter pushes the classroom door. He sees an old envelope on the desk, sealed in red wax, and his name is written in a careful hand. The loudspeaker crackles, and a voice announces a staff loss with a pause that feels like a cliff. Liam whispers, "Please be a mistake," but the silence answers back. Jessie Alvarez said, "You heard it too, right?" And her eyes search his face like a map to safer ground. He breaks the wax and finds a key, a flash drive, and a note that smells of chalk. Mr. Whitaker wrote, "If you find this, the last lesson is yours to start today." Liam said, "I am not ready," but the room stares like a jury. The clock ticks, and each beat feels like a dare he cannot duck. Outside, sirens fade, and the floor seems to tilt toward the desk. Liam pockets the key as thunder rolls like a curtain. Liam stares at the key like it might bite, and the room feels smaller than his doubt. Jessie said, "If he trusted you, that means something," and she steadies him with a hand on the desk. Liam remembers Mr. Whitaker sketching bridges on the board, as if ideas could carry weight. Mr. Whitaker said, "You do not wait for permission to be brave," and chalk dust rose like smoke. The memory tastes like winter air and cafeteria coffee, and it leaves him shaking. Liam said, "What if I fail?" and the clock answers with a stubborn tick. Jessie said, "Then fail forward," and the words sound borrowed from a braver time. The key warns in his palm, as if the metal knows where it belongs. He feels a hallway of eyes he cannot see, judging, pleading, daring him. The note crinkles, and a path appears where none had stood. They walk to the office, and the fluorescents buzz like bees with bad news. Dean Sloan peers over his frames, and his voice arrives 2 sizes too small for the room. Dean Sloan said, "Students do not handle teacher duties," and a pen clicks like a metronome. Liam said, "This was his request," and his throat dries to paper. Jessie said, "He trusted him," and the word trusted lands with a soft thud. The dean files the note into a tray labeled later, which feels like a funeral for urgency. Liam said, "We need a space," and the hallway outside swells with footsteps. Dean Sloan said, "No assemblies today," and the rule sounds like a lid on a boiling pot. The drizzle turns to rain, and the office plants nod like they understand. Liam pockets the key and leaves before the pen can click again. "I know." The history office smells like old books and thunderstorms, and the desk waits in careful order. A chalkboard holds a diagram of bridges, each arch labeled like a whispered prayer. Liam said, "He left this for me," and the dust glows in a tilted sunbeam. Jessie said, "Read the margins," and there are notes tucked like seeds between lines. Mr. Whitaker wrote, "Keys open places, but choices open people," and the letters steady his breath. A drawer slides, and inside sits a small brass tag stamped Room 204. Liam said, "He planned this path," and the hallway quiets as if the school leans in. Jessie said, "Then walk it," and she nudges the door with her shoulder. The rain softens, and the clock in the hall resets their pulse. Liam steps backward, but his courage steps forward first. They reach Room 204, and the door resists like a guarded secret. Liam said, "If this is a mistake, I close it, and we forget," and the key turns with a soft click. Jessie said, "If this is a lesson, we step inside and learn," and the knob yields. The lights hum awake, and on the board a single sentence waits like a lighthouse. Mr. Whitaker wrote, "Begin by asking why you are afraid," and the chalk line breaks where his hands stop. Liam said, "I am afraid I will not be him," and the room replies with honest quiet. Jessie said, "Be you," and the words feel heavier and truer than they sound. The rain slows to a careful tapping, and the floor stops tilting. Liam places the flash drive into the laptop, and breathes like it counts. The screen brightens and the last lesson begins to speak. The laptop screen flickers and a video loads, showing Mr. Whitaker seated at his desk, calm as though he knew this moment would arrive. His voice is softer than memory, steady as rain. Mr. Whitaker said, Liam, you will not understand today by standing still. You must walk into what frightens you most. Jessie glances at Liam, eyes wide, and the glow from the screen paints her face pale. Liam whispers, "He recorded this for me," and the words feel heavier than he can carry. Whitaker continues, "I was never teaching history. I was teaching you to see yourself in it." Liam rubs his temple, as if the weight of the words might splinter him. Jessie said, "Then this is yours," and the silence between them becomes an oath. The video shifts, showing Mr. Whitaker sketching bridges on the chalkboard. "Oh, he said. "Bridges are not built to last forever. They are meant to be crossed." Liam stares at the chalk lines, remembering the way Whitaker's hands always trembled slightly when he wrote. Jessie said, "He left you a map," and her finger traces the arches on the screen. Liam whispers, "But to where?" Whitaker said, "A bridge is only as strong as the fear you walk across." Liam clenches the brass key, pressing the edges into his palm until it leaves a mark. Jessie said, "He knew you could carry this," and her voice steadies against the silence. The projector hums like a faint heartbeat. The classroom door creaks and Marcus Reed leans against the frame with arms crossed. Marcus the doubter said, "So you're the chosen one now?" His smirk hides something sour. Liam said, "This was his wish," though his voice wavers. Marcus said, "Or maybe he just wanted someone to blame if it failed." Jessie said, "Not today, Marcus," and her eyes burn. Marcus shrugs, "Wisdom is overrated. Survival is enough." The rain drums harder, as though agreeing with his cynicism. Liam feels the doubt sink in, like stones in water. Jessie steps closer, whispering, "Do not let him write your story." The screen freezes on Whitaker's kind eyes. Liam closes the laptop, silence thundering in its wake. Jessie said, "He wanted you to start, not hide." Liam replies, "What if Marcus is right?" His throat strains. Jessie said, "Then prove him wrong." The hallway echoes with laughter from students unaware of the storm inside. Liam remembers Whitaker standing before the class last week, chalk dust rising like smoke, voice steady. Whitaker said, "The question is never if you are ready. It is if you are willing." Liam exhales slowly, his chest burning with conflict. Jessie steps closer and said, "You are willing." The rain fades into steady tapping, like a rhythm calling him forward. Liam unlocks a cabinet beneath the chalkboard with the brass key, the hinge squealing in protest. Inside rests a leather-bound journal, edges worn by years. Jessie whispers, his handwriting. Liam opens to the first page, reading aloud, "Wisdom is not given. It is found when the world no longer shields you." His hand trembles as though holding a flame. Jessie said, "Then let's follow it," and her voice sharpens like a blade against fear. Liam presses his palm against the ink, trying to feel the pulse left behind. He whispers, "This is where I begin," and the rain stops, leaving the silence sharp as glass. The journal lies open, its ink sharp as if written yesterday. Liam reads, "A seeker learns by losing first." His voice cracks, and Jessie steadies the page with her hand. She said, "Then maybe loss is not the end." Liam mutters, "Or maybe it is the start of nothing." The words drag against his throat. He remembers Whitaker pacing the class, chalk rattling like a drum beat. Whitaker said, "Doubt is the enemy that arrives dressed as truth." Liam hears that echo, but Marcus leans in the doorway, arms folded, smirk half alive. Marcus said, "Looks like doubt is winning already." Jessie snaps, "Not if he walks." The rain outside becomes heavier, like a hammer against glass. Liam grips the journal tighter, knuckles pale. The journal maps a riddle across its pages, pointing toward the auditorium, once abandoned. Liam whispers, "Why there?" Jessie replies, "Because it is the one place no one goes." Marcus laughs, "Exactly. A perfect place to waste your time." Liam ignores him, clutching the brass tag stamped room 204. Jessie said, "You cannot follow fear, you have to follow meaning." The hallway stretches long, every step echoing like a challenge. Marcus trails behind, muttering, "Wisdom does not pay rent." Liam whispers, "Then it must pay something else." The thunder claps, shaking the lockers like thin drums. Jessie lifts her chin, saying, "Then let's finish the walk." They reach the auditorium, its doors chained until Liam fits the brass key. The lock snaps open with a sharp echo. Jessie whispers, "Like it waited for you." Inside, dust swirls in the thin light from cracked skylights. Liam says, "This place is a grave," his breath fogging. Jessie said, "Graves can grow new roots." Marcus scoffs, "Keep telling yourself that." The age looms, curtain moth-eaten, but a single chair sits center. On it rests another envelope, edges curled. Liam said, "He left this too," his voice unsteady. Jessie's hand grips his arm, and the silence of the vast room weighs down like stone. Liam opens the envelope. Inside is a torn photo of Whitaker as a young man, standing with soldiers, face marked with wear. Written on the back, "Every lesson is born of scars." Liam whispers, "He never spoke of this." Jessie said, "Maybe it was not ours to know, until now." Marcus mutters, "And what do scars teach?" That pain repeats. Liam feels the weight of silence pressing him down. Jessie said, "Scars mean he walked through it and still stood." Liam clenches the photo, saying, "Then maybe I can too." Thunder rolls across the ceiling, louder than applause. The dust dances in golden slants of light, like memories made visible. The journal's next line reads, "A seeker must face their shadow before they see the sun." Liam whispers, "Shadow." Jessie said, "Your fear, your doubt." Marcus chuckles darkly, "Or maybe me." The lights overhead flicker, and Liam feels a presence heavier than Marcus. His own reflection in the cracked mirror near the stage looks back with eyes colder than his. The reflection whispers in his mind, "You will fail." Liam says, "I hear it." Jessie grips his shoulder, then, "Fight it." The storm outside rips thunder like a warning, but inside, the air feels tighter, as though the room itself waits for his choice. The cracked mirror stares back, but the reflection is no longer just Liam. It shifts, showing Mr. Whitaker younger, in uniform, his eyes carrying storms. Liam whispers, "Why am I seeing this?" Jessie said, "Because he wanted you to know who he was." The journal's page reads, "My greatest failure was silence." Marcus scoffs, "So your hero was broken too." Liam presses his forehead to the cool glass, whispering, "He carried this for decades." Jessie steadies him with a hand. She said, "Then he left you the chance not to." The storm outside fades to a low, steady rain, as though listening. The journal slips open to a hidden letter taped to the binding. Liam unfolds it with trembling hands. Mr. Whitaker wrote, "The scars you carry are mine too." Liam whispers, "He knew." Jessie said, "What did he mean?" Marcus mutters, "Maybe he saw your cracks before you did." The words carve deeper. "My father left me when I was your age. I thought silence was strength. It nearly destroyed me." Liam gasps, "It is the same." Jessie whispers, "You were never alone." The auditorium creaks under the storm's weight, but the letter burns warm like fire in Liam's hands. Liam speaks aloud, "He lost his father too." The words echo, bouncing against rows of empty seats. Jessie said, "He left this so you would not carry it alone." Marcus steps closer, his smirk broken. He said, "So even Whitaker was abandoned." "So what?" Payne repeats. Liam shakes his head. "No, he turned it into a lesson." The rain slows, tapping soft against the broken skylight. The journal reads, "You will inherit my wisdom, but you must create your own." Jessie smiles faintly, saying, "He gave you his scars so you could build bridges from them." The laptop hums to life again, video restarting by itself. Mr. Whitaker's voice fills the room. "You will think wisdom means answers. It does not. It means carrying your scars without letting them define you." Liam whispers, He knew I was drowning, Jesse said, and he threw you a rope. Marcus lowers his gaze, muttering, or tied it around your neck. But Whitaker's image stares forward, calm and unbroken, even in grainy pixels. Liam feels tears burn his eyes. He says, "He trusted me with this." The silence after the video ends feels heavier than thunder, yet steadier than stone. The journal's final hidden page carries a map drawn in careful ink, leading to the roof. Liam whispers, "The last step." Jesse said, "Then it is waiting for you." Marcus shakes his head. "The roof in this storm will kill you." Liam presses the page flat and says, "Maybe that's why he chose it, because the roof is where fear feels highest." Jesse's hand slips into his, steady. She whispers, "Then climb, and I'll climb with you." Marcus mutters, "You're both insane," but his voice cracks with doubt. Lightning splits the sky outside, and the path forward shines with sharp clarity. The rooftop door screams on its hinges, and the storm claws at them like an angry beast. Wind whips Liam's hoodie back, soaking him to the bone, yet he doesn't step away. Jesse grips his arm, shouting, "Fear wants you to run." Her eyes shine even as rain lashes across her face. Liam whispers, "This is where he wanted me to stand," voice nearly stolen by the storm. Marcus lingers behind, arms crossed, muttering, "You're both insane," though awe flickers in his eyes. The journal page flaps violently, ink bleeding into watery veins. Liam braces it against his chest, whispering, "Wisdom demands standing where storms try to break you." Lightning rips the sky open, thunder shaking his bones. Liam shouts into the chaos, "Then here I stand." His words roar with the storm, but also above it. Liam strides toward the center of the roof, rain punishing every step like trial by water. The journal falls open in his hands, ink bleeding but words still burning through. "Face the shadow, or it will own you." Jesse's hair whips around her face as she yells, "Read it!" Liam's reflection in a rooftop puddle glares back, sneering with twisted certainty. The shadow's voice inside him whispers, "You will fail them all. You will always fail." His knees nearly buckle as thunder crashes, but he forces his breath steady. Liam shouts, "I am not you!" His fists slam the drenched concrete, water exploding upward like sparks. Jesse cries, "Then prove it." Marcus mutters, he's tearing himself apart, but his voice is quieter now, uncertain. The storm seems to answer, rain swirling harder, but Liam's voice rises stronger. "I am enough." The puddle darkens, and Liam's shadow grows taller, monstrous in shape, eyes blazing red like embers. Its voice coils inside him, whispering, "Without me, you are hollow." Liam stares back, teeth clenched, and whispers, "You are not truth. You are only fear." Jesse shouts, voice breaking, "Don't let it take you." Marcus takes one step closer, fists tight at his sides, muttering, "No one beats themselves. No one." Lightning flares, and Liam rises slowly, water streaming off his hoodie, journal gripped tight. His voice breaks but steadies, "You are a part of me, but you are not all of me." The reflection snarls, edges flickering like torn film. The puddle ripples violently, shadow splitting into shards. Liam's chest heaves as he whispers, "I will carry you, but you will not chain me." The journal's final words smear into unreadable ink, yet Liam knows them by heart. Bravery is not the absence of fear, but the will to walk with. He closes the sodden cover and presses it tight to his chest like a heartbeat. Jesse whispers, through rain and tears, "You did it." Marcus shakes his head slowly, but his words soften. Maybe wisdom isn't useless after all. The storm groans, but its rage begins to fall apart, raindrops lighter, clouds cracking into gray patches. Liam lifts his face upward, letting the last stings of rain wash across his eyes. For the first time, his breath is calm. He whispers, "He wanted me to fight myself, not the world." Jesse smiles weakly, replying, "And you won." Lightning flickers once more, then fades into silence, leaving only the beginning of dawn's light. The rooftop quiets, the storm retreating into distant rumble. Dawn stretches slowly, gold spilling across the horizon. Liam whispers, "I thought wisdom was answers. It is choices." Jesse nods, squeezing his trembling hand, whispering, "And you chose to stand." Marcus mutters, "And maybe I needed to see that," voice breaking, stripped of sarcasm. Liam kneels, placing the journal on the roof, letting the rain wash over its scarred cover. He whispers, "Thank you, sir." Jessie rests her head briefly against his shoulder, whispering, "The last lesson is yours now." The horizon flares brighter, reflecting in Liam's wet eyes. His whisper cuts the silence, "Then I will carry it forward." The roof holds their stillness, not fragile, but unshakable, like stone after a storm. Dawn rinses the rooftop clean, and the air tastes like metal and new paper. Liam leads the way down the stairwell, steps slow but certain. Jessie said, "You do not have to carry it alone," and her voice steadies the rails. Marcus follows, sleeves dripping, gaze lowered as if ashamed of the storm he cheered. Liam whispers, "I want his lesson heard," and the words land like a promise. Jessie said, "Then we tell them today, and the plan feels simple enough to be brave." Marcus mutters, "I can help set the room," and the hallway seems to widen. The journal is heavy, but it sits easier against Liam's chest. He said, "We start second period," and the silence finally agrees. Somewhere, a clock resets, and the day begins again. The office smells like toner and old coffee, and the rain has left a bright edge on the window. Dean Sloane peers over his glasses, measuring them by rules and forms. Liam said, "We want a room to share Mr. Whitaker's last lesson," and he sets the journal down like proof. Jessie said, "He asked him to start it today," and the sentence refuses to shrink. Marcus adds, "I will handle seats," and his voice holds no smirk. The dean taps a pen, then opens the schedule with a sigh that sounds like surrender. Dean Sloane said, "Auditorium second period. Keep it respectful." Liam nods, and the weight in his chest shifts from burden to duty. Jessie squeezes his hand once, and the office light feels kinder. Students drift into the auditorium, whispering like leaves, and the stage hums with cables and dust. Liam breathes in the hush, then steps to the mic that once held Whitaker's patience. He said, "This is not a memorial. This is a lesson," and the room stills. Jessie stands at the side, hands folded, a lighthouse in denim. Marcus cues the projector with a careful nod. The storm gone from his eyes. Liam said, "He taught us bridges, but he meant courage," and a row of shoulders lifts. He opens the journal, reading, "Wisdom is found when the world stops shielding you." The words settle over the seats, like warm rain. For the first time, the silence feels alive. The screen brightens, and Mr. Whitaker appears, eyes kind, voice steady as chalk. Mr. Whitaker said, "Carry your scars, but do not worship them," and a few throats clear in the dark. Liam feels the roof wind again, but this time it passes through him. Jessie said, "He is still teaching," and her whisper anchors the front row. Marcus steps forward and said, "I mocked what I feared. I was wrong," and the seats murmur, then quiet. Liam reads the margin note aloud. "Begin by asking why you are afraid," and the projector hum rises like a heartbeat. The room does not break under the truth. It listens, and that listening becomes a bridge. When the lights rise, no one rushes to leave, as if the room fears dropping the thread. Liam closes the journal and said, "The last lesson is not his alone now," and a breath moves through the seats. Jessie said, "Write your fear, then write your first step," and paper rustles like soft rain. Marcus collects pens and passes them down, quiet as apology. Dean Sloane lingers in the aisle, not speaking, but not stopping them. Liam watches pages fill, and the room glows with a small, stubborn hope. He whispers, "Thank you, sir," and does not need the mic. Outside, the sky clears, and the day remembers how to shine. Morning settles over the campus, and the paths gleam like new ink drying. Students pin their fear cards to a cork wall, and the paper rustles like leaves. Liam said, "This is not about being fearless," and his voice travels past the doors. Jesse said, "Write the first step you can take today," and pencils begin to move. Marcus said, "If you stumble, keep walking," and a few heads lift. Dean Sloane stands back, hands in pockets, and does not interrupt the tide. Liam remembers the roof, the storm, and the puddle that tried to own him. He said, "Courage is a choice you renew," and the hallway breathes. Jesse smiles, and the board fills with small vows, raw and brave. Marcus watches, as if measuring the room's new weight. The bell rings and no one rushes. The silence holds like a promise. In the quiet of a side hallway, the school hums like a distant engine. Marcus said, "I took shots at you because I hated the mirror," and his eyes stop dodging. Liam said, "I almost believed the shadow," and the words land without apology. Marcus said, "I can help you hold this space," and there is no smirk. Jesse said, "Then help build the bridge," and the three of them stand like anchors. A janitor's cart rattles past, and the world keeps on being ordinary. Liam said, "We start with listening," and the heat leaves his chest. Marcus nods once, slow and sure, as if signing a pact. Jesse rests a palm to the wall and breathes. The storm is memory now, but its lesson holds. They look down the long hall, and do not turn away. The history room waits with the hush of a theater before lights. Liam sets the brass key on Whitaker's desk, and the metal clicks like a period. Jesse said, "You finished the sentence he started," and her smile is thin but bright. Liam unfolds the tweed jacket and drapes it on the chair back where absence once thundered. He said, "Thank you for the bridges," and chalk dust lifts, soft as breath. Marcus said, "We should keep the question on the board," and his voice carries carefully. Liam writes, "Why are you afraid?" and leaves the question open. Jesse said, "Because we are alive and the truth does not sting." The clock ticks, and it sounds like a pulse now. Sunlight finds the old map and lights the rivers. On the rooftop at golden hour, the horizon holds a thin line of fire. Liam sets a phone on a tripod and faces the lens without armor. He said, "If you found this, you are not late," and the wind moves gently. Jesse said, "Write the step, not the speech," and laughter escapes like a small mercy. Marcus said, "If you fall, call us," and the offer does not wobble. Liam said, "Carry your scars, but do not worship them," and the line lands where it must. He breathes once, and the city exhales with him. He said, "Begin anyway," and ends the recording. Jesse squeezes his hand, and the roof remembers the storm without fear. Marcus packs the tripod and the light keeps spreading. Evening gathers in the auditorium like a second breath. A small circle remains, notebooks open, and the room glows in lamplight. Liam said, "A lesson does not end. It continues in whoever takes it next," and the circle nods. Jesse said, "Leave with one line you can live," and pens begin to move. Marcus said, "Mine is to listen before I doubt," and his voice steadies. Liam writes his line and closes the journal with care. He said, "I will not wait for permission to be brave," and the air seems to lift. The lights dim, and the quiet is full, not empty. He carries the journal, but it no longer weighs him down. At the door he leaves the room open for whoever comes.